Calling all shopaholics. The retail landscape of America that holds a cultural identity for most of us is changing as we speak. Pandemics, wars, inflation, and shopping has jump-started the online shopping revolution. Retailers nationwide are embracing the digital revolution and saying goodbye to their brick-and-mortar stores. Retail is perhaps the most volatile business in America. It is the perfect application of the phrase, "You snooze, you lose." Just ask baby boomers and Generation X around you. They'll tell you how many retailers that were once household names have now completely faded into the history books. Why? Well, sure enough, the American retail industry is as hard as it gets. They're directly affected by geoeconomic conditions, but there are still many examples that have successfully navigated the industry for decades. What separates them from others is just one thing: adaptability. Such retailers do not shy away from adjusting their business models to consumer habits and technology. Now, the retail industry is on alert once again. Amid soaring inflation, bankruptcy, supply chain crisis, and a bunch of other constraints in the retail industry, there is one unequivocal fact that cannot be waited out. Everyone knew it was due. The current recession just made it come a lot sooner. The retail exodus from stores to online shopping is now priority number one, and that means shutting down brick-and-mortar stores. Number 1. Foot Locker. Foot Locker, the favorite go-to spot of sneakerheads for all things footwear and athletic gear, just made a big announcement. They're planning to close around 400 stores in North America by 2026. That's about 13% of their stores in the region. The reason? Well, they're shifting gears away from malls and going all in on the digital scene. Gap is a behemoth that represents the iconic laid-back American fashion. Too bad for malls, though. Gap has had enough foresight to shift to online a while ago. The brand had announced to close a whopping 350 Gap and Banana Republic stores across North America by the end of 2023, a 30% drop, leaving the clothing giant with just 866 stores in the country. Nordstrom, the high-end department store chain known for all things chic, has announced to close 16 stores this year. This makes up 4% of its stores in the U.S. The latest update is that it just closed its renowned flagship store in San Francisco. Such a big move alerted the entirety of San Francisco's downtown retail scene. The bells have rung, and the race to e-commerce is on. Whole Foods. One would assume that the public's access to organic and natural foods would be sheltered from changing markets, right? Well, partly. Whole Foods is on its way to closing 14 stores in America this year. It's all in the grand strategic plan to shift online. Even more store closures are expected in the near future. Even a multinational healthcare retail giant understands the need to keep up with changing trends. CVS Health is making strategic moves and closing the doors of 300 stores across the U.S. in 2023. It's no secret that more and more of us are seeking the convenience of shopping for medications online. And amid underperforming stores and market conditions in general, CVS has had to keep up with the online competition. This one may be a little surprising for you. If there's any brand that should not have concerns about declining foot traffic, it has to be Starbucks, right? Arguably true, but the coffee giant does have an e-commerce division that is expected to account for 10% of sales by 2025. In 2022, they announced the closure of 16 stores across the U.S. The reasons were safety concerns, declining foot traffic, and store density. In 2023, they've just announced to close 2 more stores. Looks like they're going to pick up the pace on the online trend. The largest retailer in the world can't be expected to snooze. Walmart is set to close 21 stores in the U.S. Being as big as it is, it's used to fighting on multiple battlefields at once. This particular move is part of a strategic shift by the company to focus on its most profitable stores, all while pushing more and more people toward online shopping, especially where they're shutting down stores. Macy's has been well ahead of almost everyone since 2020. While other brands waited for the implications of the pandemic, Macy's had already begun restructuring. This year, they'll completely shut down 4 more stores in the U.S. Their plan is to close 125 stores, which is 10% of its total store count. But as the economic share of e-commerce rises, we can expect more stores to follow. Best Buy. Best Buy restructuring to push online makes the most sense. The consumer electronics retailer is closing 20 to 30 stores just this year. They've enough trust in their customers that they can order expensive equipment from their homes. They're also going to open 8 concept stores and 10 outlet stores just to balance the pulling of brick-and-mortar stores. This one stands out the most on this list. Here's a company that is the most successful e-commerce store on the planet. And it has some 29 physical stores, of which it is now closing 8. And it has paused the expansion of such a story. Why? Well, put simply, they realized that it was not worth it. Their futuristic cashier-less stores are too expensive to run. The RealReal, a luxury consignment marketplace for authenticated designer goods, decided to get real with the market. The brand is closing 10 stores in 2023 as a part of its 15% store reduction plan. Among the usual suspects of supply chain crisis and inflation, its most serious concern was low foot traffic. Target is bidding farewell to 4 of its stores in Maryland, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. These smaller format stores were specially designed to cater to urban shoppers, but it seems they haven't quite hit the bullseye in terms of performance. They're taking a 2-pronged approach to the changing retail landscape, closing underperforming stores, opening new stores in areas with growth potential, and going all in on the online transition. It looks like Bath & Body Works is looking for some personal care in online shopping and closing stores. The market has pushed the retailer to hire external advisors for help in cutting costs by at least $200 million. For 2023, they've announced to close 50 stores and focus on their most profitable locations. The closures will most likely affect malls as they are the most affected by low foot traffic. Guessed it right. Pushing the online trend is this economic pickle's right and long-term move. Though still profitable, Guess had trouble getting U.S. shoppers to buy denim and dresses in the first quarter of 2023. As sales continue to decline, the brand has decided to be very selective with its on-ground presence and facilitate more customers online. It will be closing down 100 stores as part of a strategic restructuring plan announced in 2023 of cutting 9% of locations. 2 of the biggest office supply retailers announced in 2023 are well set to close 230 stores. Unlike most of the other retailers, both are doing just fine in the economic hell. However, online competition, especially from smaller stores, has made them bulldoze into the e-commerce landscape. Amazon and other online retailers have made it easier than ever for consumers to buy office supplies without having to leave their homes. This has put a lot of pressure on the brick-and-mortar office supply stores. It's the favorite spot of budget-conscious shoppers in America, but it's been in a real pickle. Since 2022, it's been trying to counter declining sales by reinventing itself. But online competition like Walmart and Amazon continue to present an alternative for affordable shopping. After laying off employees and hiring an experienced CEO, the brand has announced to cut costs by closing 15 underperforming stores in 2023. Denim, airy lingerie, and activewear. If you want to buy these things from American Eagle Outfitters, you're about to go store hunting. Amid shoppers' online evolution, the brand has decided to close 200 to 250 stores by the end of 2023. Or as the brand says, selectively closing unproductive stores. It also recently stated that the company is looking at different uses for the mall and that the consumer is a lot different today than it was 52 years ago when that mall was built. AT&T is one of the largest telecommunications companies in the world, and they recently announced the closure of their downtown San Francisco flagship store on August 1, 2023. It's a huge store that has been the brand's identity-building store since 2001. Though unfortunate, it's not at all surprising. The brand reports, as a part of the strategic plan to adjust to low foot traffic and online shopping, they had already closed 250 stores by the end of 2022. Zara is about to close 120 of its 500 stores in the U.S. It's part of the greater pain of its parent company, Inditex, which decided to close 1,200 worldwide stores in 2023, all to heavily invest in its online platforms. But there's one more thing you should know. If retailers are majorly transitioning towards online shopping, that doesn't mean the physical footprint will disappear. Instead, brands are opening concept stores, particularly clothing retailers. Concept stores are retail spaces that go beyond traditional shopping experiences. They feature innovative designs, interactive displays, and curated product selections that align with the retailer's vision. Basically, a fancy gallery for you to see what to buy. Watch the next video to find out which further big companies will close their stores. So, is your favorite on the list?